Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Heroes of the Storm. Now, on this one, we're going to be going over the character Kerrigan. She's a melee assassin, very cool melee assassin. These are some of the different skins you can pick for her. This one costs 10,000 gold to unlock. That's kind of cool. I like that one. That's not really my style. That one's 749, real cash. And this one looks like the Bride of Frankenstein, actually. It's kind of cool looking in its own way. And that one's $10 to unlock right there. You also get to wear mounts on this character. So any amounts that you have unlocked in the past can be used for this class. Now, this is the Christmas mounts they got going on right now. I'm sure they're adding more as the game progresses. This one costs 7,000 gold to buy, or $8.49. Now, it's melee assassin. Difficulty is medium. It starts with 4 abilities, just like every other character you ever play has. And these are the abilities right here, and I'll go through each and every one. Ravage, leap to an enemy and deal damage. This one's cool. It actually heals you as well if you put the talent point into it at the very beginning, your very first level. So it's another way for you to get to an enemy in a fight, whether you're just starting off or the enemy's running away. This will let you catch up to the enemy. Impaling blade, stun and damage enemies in an area. Now, I normally didn't use this one all too often. It's alright, it stuns them, but it doesn't stun them for long. It's like 1 second, it's barely noticeable. Primal Grasp, this is something I'm using all the time playing this character. Pull and damage enemies in an area. What it really does is... Sorry about that. What it really does is target in a small path in front of you. And it shoots out these claws that actually drag everything in front of you right on top of you. Now you're like, why would I want to do that? Well, these Impaling Blades is an area effect spell, which then you can use to hurt them all in this small little area, because it is a small area effect spell. And then of course you do tremendous damage just meleeing these people, these little minions or heroes and stuff like that. But Primal Grasp is great because if the enemy is running away, it casts rather quickly. It does have like about a second delay from where the claws slide underneath the ground and then pull back. But if you're careful, you can pretty much capture any guy that you need to. It's only going to give you about a hit, maybe a hit and a half before they have their chance to run away again. But that's usually all you need to finish them off, especially if there's somebody else there to help you. Assimilation. Gain a temporary shield by attacking enemies. This doesn't sound like the greatest thing in the world. This thing is amazing. You not only hurt the enemy, and if you put the talent points in the right thing, will heal yourself at the same time you're doing that, but you'll gain a shield for the amount of health that you don't have anymore. So if the enemy's hitting you and you're hitting them back, it's almost like a stalemate where your health is concerned, because the shield is constantly protecting you. Now, if you're hitting an enemy and you have a little bit of health damage already, say 75%, that 75% or that 25% you don't have health will actually be a shield after a certain point, and that counts whether you're attacking a tower or a gate or minions, or whether they're heroes. It doesn't matter. You're just going to get shields for attacking, period. So that's a very, very, very nice thing for a melee character to have, especially an assassin who's constantly doing lots of damage. Now, this is hard because both of these heroic abilities are really good to play. I like them both. Summon Ultralisk summons an Ultralisk to attack target enemies. I love this spell. This spell is unbelievable. It's a pet, basically, that looks like a giant turtle with the horn coming out of its face. It lasts for a good amount of time, but the very first time I used this spell, there was 4 enemies on the map, and they were all coming towards me, and I was pretty much there by myself with just a few minions. And I won. I killed all 4 of them, just to give you an idea of how powerful this pet is. That powerful. It's unbelievable. It's overpowered in my opinion. I would not want to go against it in battle, but having it on my side is really cool. I mean, it's very nice. Then you got Maelstrom. Damage all enemies, all nearby enemies. So basically, it will create an aura around your character, and anybody within that aura is going to be damaged. And it does quite a bit of damage as well. But you have to be pretty close. That's another reason you'd use one of those abilities to bring everybody close to you and use this at the same time. Now, they're both really good spells. I would suggest picking and trying both of them. And depending on what team you have and the makeup of such, you could decide for yourself which one might be better for that particular map and that particular team. But they're both great. I would use both of them anytime if I could. So again, you get new talents at level 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, and 20. Of course, I have unlocked all these. The character is level 4.5. Usually stop around there, even though at level 5 you get 500 gold for getting to level 5. So I would suggest, if you can, to get your character to at least level 5, especially right now when they're letting you play the character for free and you don't have to buy him just yet. So you have Siphoning Impact. Ravage heals you for 5% of your maximum health if it hits an enemy. Now this is the one I was telling you about before, this very first one right here, that I use all the time, and this is what I always pick. Anything that gives your character health is always a good thing, especially if you're a tank. Let's see, Sharpening Blades, or Sharpened Blades. Impale Blades deal 15% more damage. Well, that's great. I mean, more damage is always a good thing, but I don't really use this spell all that often, like I said before. Sweeping Grass. Increase the range of Primal Grass by 20%. Now, I wish I could use this one because I use that spell, or that ability, all the time. And increase its range would be a great thing. But I need the healing more because this character is in the front, and if it doesn't get that little small boost of heal on occasion, you're going to run into some issues. You're not going to be able to do as much as you could if you just had that nice little heal, you know, just once in a blue moon. So you got Block. Periodically reduces incoming basic attack, and it reduces damage received from hero basic attacks by 50% and can store up to 2 charges. Seasoned Marksman. For every 6 enemy minions or mercenaries killed near your hero, gain 1 basic attack damage. Hero takedowns count as 2 minion kills. So this is basically going to make your character stronger and stronger and stronger. So 6 enemy minions or mercenaries, and you get 1 basic attack. So after 12, you're going to have 2. After 18, you're going to have 3 basic attack damage. And by the time you get to level 15, hopefully, your attack damage is going to be significant enough to warrant the fact that you just lost out on your healing spell for your Ravage. So you could try that if you want to go towards more DPS, or if you know that your group has a couple healers that are going to be with you, you may not need that healing at all. Focused Attack. Every 10 seconds, your next basic attack deals 50% additional damage. Basic attacks reduce this cooldown by 1 second. Fury of the Storm, or Swarm. Basic attack splash for 50 damage around Kerrigan. Clean Kill. If Ravage kills the target, it also restores 100% its mana's cost. I usually go with this one because it's kind of nice, but it has to kill the target when you use this spell, and it doesn't happen very often, so maybe not the best one to use. After casting Primal Grass, deal 30 damage over 5 seconds to nearby enemies. That's kind of nice. 30 damage is not insignificant. Times 5, you're going to do a significant amount of damage there. But I kind of like this one a little bit better. Activate to poison an enemy hero, dealing 210 damage over 6 seconds. Now this won't be an augment to one of your abilities. It will actually put a little button over your normal abilities that you can push. And the reason I like this is it's a great thing to have to cast on an enemy right before they run. If you can pretty much get an idea of when a guy's going to run. And if you cast this on them, because it's not a direct damage spell, it's a damage over time spell over 6 seconds, they will not realize that they are already dead before it's too late. Their health is already going to be in the red. It just hasn't gotten there yet. So definitely a good thing to have to use right before they run, especially since you can pull them back, throw that on them, and then they're pretty much dead for sure. You got Battle Momentum. A lot of classes get this. I've never really used it. Basic attacks reduce ability cooldown by 0.5 seconds. The reason I don't like this one is because most classes already have a problem with coming up with enough power or mana to use their abilities, let alone be able to use them faster. And your basic attack reducing ability cooldowns would cause your abilities to come back more often, and then you would really be hurting for power. Although, if you have one specific ability that you like using quite a bit, but you just have to keep waiting for it to come back, well, then this might be something you might want to try. But for this class, I would say definitely not worth it. There's better things on this this talent pool right here that you should put a point into. Impaling Swarm. Impale blades spawn 2 Zerglings at the target's location. I tried this a couple of times. Didn't notice any difference whatsoever in the damage it seemed to do. This spell in general is, or this ability in general, is pretty pathetic, which is why I don't use it all that often. Adaptation. Ravage can be used to jump to allies for half the cooldown. Now, I tried this one before, and the distance on which you can use it on your own allies to jump to them is pretty small. It's pretty much the same distance you can use on the enemy, which makes it pretty worthless because it's only about 4 or 5 inches on the screen that you can use to jump to an enemy. So with that amount of distance, you can just run to the ally. It's not like you're jumping clear across the map or something like that. So I wouldn't suggest getting that one. Searing Attacks. Activate to increase basic attack damage by 50% for 5 seconds. Each attack costs 15 mana. You know, that one's not all that great either. In fact, I don't really like any of the ones on this level. But you have to pick one, so I'll leave that up to you guys. Heroic abilities. Now, I've already talked a little bit about these, and I'll go ahead and go into more detail. Maelstrom. Cooldown is 120 seconds. Make sure you guys always look at the cooldown on these heroic abilities. It may be the deciding factor on which one you go for. Now, this one deals 50 damage per second to nearby enemies, lasts for 9 seconds. So 50 times 9, and you got just how much damage this thing is capable of doing. That's quite a bit of damage. You got Summon Ultralisk. Summons an Ultralisk that deals 40 damage, attack splash to nearby enemies for 20 damage, lasts for 20 seconds, and the cooldown is 80 seconds. So if you look at it, 120 seconds versus 80 seconds, and this one lasts for 20 seconds, whereas this one only lasts for 9 seconds. This one will run after your enemies. This one only hurts the enemies around you. So for you, depending on what you want to do in your playstyle, I would kind of lean towards this one, actually, the pet versus the area effect spell, but it's a close one. Leering Essence is a trait. Assimilation shield duration increased to 12 seconds. That's one I was telling you about right here, where you gain a shield. It only lasts for a few seconds after you stop attacking, and this one will increase it to 12 seconds after you stop attacking, which is a significant amount of time. Increase the range of Ravage by 25%. I like that one. I use that spell quite a bit. Increasing the range is always a good thing on a spell that you use. Double Strike. When your basic ability damage an enemy, your next basic attack hits for 50% extra damage. Rewind. Activate to reset the cooldowns of your basic abilities. Again, mana is always playing an issue, so this one really is not something I would ever use. And then Sprint. Activate to gain 75% movement speed for 3 seconds. 3 seconds is not that long. Enough time to get out of battle, basically, but kind of a waste. I would use one of these. Either this one or this one right here. Executioner. Basic attacks deal 40% more damage against slowed, rooted, or stunned targets. Now, usually this would not be something that you would even want to waste a point in, because most targets are not slowed, rooted, or stunned, but now that people are playing more exotic characters, they usually are, so this might be something you might want to try. Aggressive Defense. It's a trait. Increases Assimilation Shield from basic abilities. Assimilation Shield earned from basic abilities increased by 100%. You have Blade Torn. Hold on a second, guys. I apologize for that. Impaling Blades increase size, so the radius increased by 30%. Blood for Blood. Activate to steal 15% of target's enemy's max health and slows his movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. This is the one I like. The fact that you can steal its life and slow it down is just incredible. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. Overdrive. Activate to increase ability power by 25% and mana cost by 40% for 5 seconds. You know, this is if you're going down the offensive route. You can definitely use this, but you're going to run out of power very, very quickly. Fury of the Storm. Basic attacks bounce twice to nearby enemies for 50 damage or 50% more damage. Pretty much every class you play is going to have these two default abilities or talents right here. The Bolt of the Storm, activate to teleport to a nearby location, and Fury of the Storm. Almost every single one of them has these two, and unfortunately when you first start the character, these are the only two you can pick from when you get to level 20. These other two do not show up until later on, so I'll read those to you right now. Omega Storm. Maelstrom size increased by 25%. Amount of assimilation shield generated by Maelstrom increased by 100%. So it increases in size and gives you more shielding when you use it. It's kind of nice, but again, you have to have picked the Maelstrom right here in order to use that, and you have to have picked the Summon Ultralisk to use this next one. Ultralisk health and duration increase, so duration and health increased by 100%, which means the pet will last longer and have more health to boot. That would just be incredible. I mean, that would just be, I can't even imagine how much damage that could do. I just used it on the last level, right there at the main base, and it went from, I believe, 60% to like 0% in about 2 seconds, just because of my pet. So yeah, way overpowered, but definitely go with that one in my opinion. Again, guys, if you like these videos, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment below, or as always, hit me up in game. Thanks again for watching.